to do is take our drill, our hand brace with the 7/16 drill bit. We're just going to find a spot 6 inches away from any old tap holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean on the drill and I'm going to turn it clockwise to start the drill into the tree. Let's make sure we're in far enough. And then I'm going to reverse our drill. I'm going to back it out of the tree. What I'm going to do is clear the sawdust out of our tap hole, and we're going to measure how deep we've gone into the tree. And I'm already starting to see a little bit of sap, guys. Can you see it? Yeah. And we're going to pound that into the tree. There you go. Good. She's starting to get that spile into the tree. We want to get it nice and tight so that we can hang our bucket and the spile won't come out. We want it nice and tight into the tree. Our buckets are about 5 or 6 gallon buckets, so when they fill on a really good day, that gets kind of heavy. So we want this really in tight. Ready? Throw in a couple more whacks. I think we got it. We're starting to get sap right out of this tree. Sap is sterile when it comes out. There's no germs in it until it comes in contact with the air or a container.
Sap comes in from the sugar bush after the trees have been tapped, and it's hauled in here on a tanker, a stainless steel tank that's brought in by a tractor.
And it's about 150 gallons in there right now. It's about 7 to 10 minutes to empty that out. Probably 200 trees for that 150 gallons right there tapped. It ran really good over as being a cold night into the day. As you know, when we're collecting sap, there's always flies and bark coming off the tree or something like that. So what we do is we put this canister on top. Inside here, there's a hole in there, and we put this filter inside and we push it down so nothing can get in between the cracks. And when we dump that sap, that all comes up and it fills this filter up full. As you can see, it's full of dirt. And then you could tell when the sap starts to slow down. When you're dumping, that means your filter's full. So we carry a box of filters with us. And then when it comes out of here, we also have a filtration right there. We make sure the sap is well preserved and protected with any bugs or anything like that into it.
That's a hydrometer in a test cup. It will float and tell us the percentage of sugar in the sap. Right now it is just about we'll call it 2.6%. So if we boiled 100 gallons of this sap at 2.6% sugar, we'll get 2.6 gallons of syrup out of it. And these are our 2 storage tanks. These used to be bulk milk storage tanks from Wisconsin dairy farms. These are insulated and they keep the sap pure and clean and free of bugs until it goes into the evaporator. So all of the white pipes that you see are part of our sap system that goes into the sugar house. And you can see this line up here, which we'll see in just a minute, is going to take it in, and that baby sap or that new sap is on its way to become syrup. You saw the white pipe outdoors. It comes through the wall right here. The fresh sap comes down this pipe and it goes through a meter. By running the meter, we can count how many gallons of sap that we boil each day, and then we'll know also how many gallons of syrup we produce each day. After the sap leaves the meter, it goes up through this pipe, up into this 100-gallon tank, which is our indoor holding tank for the fresh sap. That's also equipped with a thermometer on it that tells us the temperature of the sap before it goes into the evaporator. One of the things we can never do is to have our evaporator run dry. If we don't have sap coming into it, we'll boil it all out and we will burn our equipment. So one of the safety features we have here at Fallen Timbers is this red alarm system. When our holding tank runs dry, the red alarm system will alert with both a red light and sound to tell us it's time to pump in more fresh sap. Now we've got our holding tank full of sap, and it still has to get into the evaporator. It's going to go through this white pipe right here. It's going to go all the way across, and all the work is being done by gravity. Down through this white pipe into this, which is called our float box. There's a valve in here that's also automatic, and that will control the flow of the sap into the evaporator. All of the stainless steel parts that you see here, we call the evaporator. Now there's two parts to the evaporator after the float box. Its first stop on its journey to becoming syrup is in what we call the back pan or the flue pan of the evaporator. And it comes in up here in the front, and it enters right here in this front corner, the front right corner of the system, and it's going to go all the way down here over the course of probably 20 minutes or half an hour, and it's going to cut right through here. See where my fingers are? And it's going to go all the way down the back pan or flue pan. It's getting warmed all the time because the fire is right under it, and it ends up coming back down the back pan before it goes into the front or finishing pan. It comes into the side of the pan right here, and there's a little valve where we can control the flow, and it's going to come down this channel, and just like in the back pan, cut through this little hole over here, and it's going to come down this way very slowly, cut through this little hole over here, and the finished maple syrup will end up in this front corner of the front pan. This is the arch. All of the black metal is called the arch. It's lined on the inside with very high temperature fire bricks to keep all of the heat inside the arch. Once we start the fire, we start it up here, and it really is only in the front, under the front pan. This has a big slope into it. So as the fire goes up, and it's going to ultimately, all the hot gases are going to go out the chimney back here. This has a great big slope in it, just like a hill. And it takes the flames from the fire and the wood in the arch, and it will bring it right up under the bottom of that fresh sap. This is what we use to boil our sap into syrup. This is hardwood. It's harvested here at Fallen Timbers. This isn't any good the first time we cut it. It has to dry or age for at least a season, so the water's all gone, and it'll give us a good hot fire. On a normal day evaporating, we will use just about twice the amount of wood that we have out here. This stack will be twice as high to start the day. It'll be gone at the end of the day, and over the course of 2 or 3 weeks during the season, we'll use probably 10 times this amount of wood. Now this system that you see right here can take 30 to 40 gallons of sap every hour and turn it into 1 gallon of finished syrup. Well, we're going to draw off right now. That front pan on this side has reached 219 degrees, which is technically and theoretically maple syrup. We're going to go into the first of what will be a 3-stage filtering process. While that's coming off, I've got my finger over here on the float box to make sure that I'm flooding the pans and pushing the sugar-laden syrup over towards me. And we'll stop this when the temperature gets down to about 218. We've been boiling for about an hour and a half, and we should get the better part of 2 gallons of maple syrup out of this. To make sure that we're at syrup, we're going to take our final test. We filter through 2 layers of Orlon, a synthetic material, and then the final filter is actually wool. These are made in Vermont. If you filled it completely, this would be a 3.5 gallon filter tank. We'll probably only fill it about halfway, just so we can watch what the filters are doing. If they start to plug up with sugar sand or so-called niter, which is minerals in the syrup, it gives us an opportunity to change them. Look at that. Look at that. We're using a standard grading kit, which is color-based, that is issued by the Vermont Department of Agriculture, but it's good across all states. So we're going to stick it up there to the light and compare our sample, which is this one here, with USDA light amber, USDA medium amber, USDA dark amber, and what we call B grade, which is a cooking syrup. And we are still the same color as the USDA light amber. In order to maintain sterility and also cause the adhesive on the caps to seal, we have to put up at least at 180, and I try to go to 185. And as you can see there now, we are in fact at 180. There you go. You got it. And there you have fresh, gathered today, made today. This sap came in the sugar house at noon, and it is in the bottle at 20 minutes of 6. That's fresh.
Right.